metal is a really wide genre that many would say started with the Black Sabbath era. And at that point, it was a natural extension of rock, which was a natural extension of blues from the previous decades. Some of the hallmarks of heavy metal were the detuned guitars, extra gain, and aggressive tempos. And in fact, even if you're not a fan of heavy metal, if you play the guitar, you're going to see a lot of really cool guitar ideas that originated within the metal community. Techniques like tapping, pinch harmonics, and combining palm muting with tremolo picking. So how do you recreate some of those metal sounds on the guitar? Well, the first step is to try to get a little bit of distortion into your guitar tone. If you have an amplifier that has a gain knob, you can start to turn that up, or look for a setting that goes to a rock or metal sound. Contrary to popular belief, you don't crank the gain up all the way, and it's not some kind of fix to make your sound better. What you're doing is introducing a lot of harmonics and clipping into your guitar tone, which will make it really powerful and aggressive, but can also make it noisier. Try to find a balance in your distortion so that you can still hear clearly what you're doing alongside having that powerful metal sound. Step number 2, once you have that down, is to try to learn how to control your strings. You see, with metal and rock, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that most people don't think about. With this higher level of gain and distortion, which I told you introduces more noise, you have to learn how to control your strings, otherwise it's going to be a big mess. You control your strings in 2 ways. First, with the palm on your right hand, which can cover the strings near the bridge, and that can allow for a good palm muted sound if you keep your hand down. But it also just works as a clamp if you push it a little farther forward so that the strings are muted when you're working up a set of scales, strings, or chords. Notice my hand position as I play through this scale. I'm constantly keeping these strings at attention with my palm on the side here. It's working to catch any of those loose vibrations, which can even just be sympathetic, even if you're not touching the strings with your fingers at all, and reducing the noise. I told you there's a second way, and that happens with your fretting hand. Originally, and especially with acoustic guitar, they tell you to curl your fingers so that you can let space underneath your fingers for proper technique. But with metal and rock, it's actually the opposite. You have to learn how to put pressure on your fingertips while flattening your finger to cover the strings that you don't want to hear. This kind of double muting, the left hand mute and the right hand mute, can work together to control the sound with really heavy distortion. So when I'm playing this really fast lick, you can see both of those string mutes in action. When you've got a good gain sound and you can control your strings, let's show you a little bit of metal harmony to end this lesson. Depending on the era of metal that you're picking from, you'll get a lot of different answers to this question. But in general, with the distorted sound, we use power chords over full chords. And again, that's to limit the noise and the harmonic content that you're producing with your guitar. A power chord is just a simple 2 or 3 finger shape. You can play one very easily by putting your finger on the guitar, going down a string over 2 frets, and placing that second finger down. Power chords can be moved around very easily, and they'll still make some of your favorite songs. Oftentimes, metal is pretty flexible with what we would call classical harmony. They don't always stay within a key signature, and instead focus on the tones of the chords themselves. If you look at that last riff, Master of Puppets, that I just played, you'll notice that it just follows all of the frets going down on the guitar, and this use of chromaticism, as we might call it, is actually pretty frequent within metal songs. And you can look at it as a way to just get more exciting, shocking, and intimidating sounds, and a little bit of an extension of that blues chromaticism from way earlier. Finish off your metal training with a lead guitar scale. Almost everything in metal is in a minor key. So if you know how to play a natural minor scale, like I did in one of my previous videos, or sometimes even cooler, a harmonic minor scale, you can use those to play around and improvise and create cool metal sounds. Hopefully this gave you a good introduction into the metal sound, and you can go out there, crank your distortion, and scare your parents. Make sure to follow this account for more guitar tips. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.